Hello and welcome, everyone. This is the Student Showcase series where I sit down and chat with some of our VFX apprentices and just chat casually about what it's like to be a VFX artist. These people have recently been through our program, so for anybody who's just starting on their journey in effects, hopefully you get some answers and inspiration. I am joined by Mattia Selicato. How's it going, Mattia?
Great. Hi, Jason, and hi, everyone. I'm doing great. I'm doing great. What about you?
Awesome. I'm good. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good this morning. So I guess it's not morning where you are. You're in Italy, correct?
Yeah, it's evening, and since it's winter, it got pretty dark. It's not too
Oh,
late,
wow.
but
That's fun. A lot of our students are in Europe and other parts of the world, so thank you for joining me in the evening, I guess. Um,
really
all
fun.
right. So, yeah, like I said, this series is all about just getting answers for people starting on their journey or wondering what it's like to be a visual effects artist. Mattia has recently found his first job as an effects artist. We'll get to that a little bit later. But I really just want to give you a chance right now, Mattia, to say what it was like discovering effects. How did you find VFX Apprentice? And maybe tell a little bit about that story.
My journey began right fresh out of the Fine Art Academy because I am a Fine Art Academy student. I got a master degree in, well, first in painting, like visual arts, and then I got web design and graphic design. But
Right.
what really strike me about VFXs is that I never really considered them as a job. And when I saw that it was possible to do something like this, I was amazed. It's a it's a world of magic. It's truly amazing. And so basically, I simply stumbled upon VFX Apprentice, and because a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, Tony, Tony Manzi, well, he brought me to the VFX world by simply showing me how amazing the program from VFX Apprentice was, and I simply got hooked up from there because I decided to give it a chance. It was not in my plans. And
Yeah.
I don't really think that many people just wake up in the morning and say, "Oh, I want to be a VFX artist." But once you start, wondering about the possibilities that jobs give, that jobs gives you, it's really something that can fulfill your life, like because it's so many different things all together, and you can never get bored as a VFX artist.
Well, it's interesting that you say this because none of us seem to find effects directly. In fact, that's a big reason why we founded the school was because it's really not the focus of any art school that I know of to train game effects artists like totally, like with all of the skills that they need to be successful in their career. And so it's not really taught, it's not really given as an option. And so, like you, many artists out there, I think would be perfect effects artists, but they're not even hearing about it. They don't even know, like, what is this? And so it's really exciting to hear that we're starting to get good reach, that we're starting to find people and sort of like let them know that they are perfect for this job, where maybe they didn't realize that before.
Yeah, trying to talking about this, that's one of the major problems. Also in Italy, when talking about video game schools,
Hmm.
you rarely get someone to teach you about real-time VFXs.
Yeah.
And it's really important that VFX Apprentice exists and that it proceeds forward, that becoming more and more important, bigger. It has to have more reach because a lot of people do not have the possibility. In fact, Tony was one of the first people really, complaining about this. Like, I want to study real-time VFXs, but damn, there's nothing in Italy.
Right.
And then he found VFX Apprentice.
So glad that both of you found us. So tell us a little bit about your journey through the program at VFX Apprentice. Was it fun? Was it hard? Was it exciting? Was it surprising? Maybe tell a little story or two about some things that you worked on while being in the program with us and how that went.
Well, At the start, I think that a lot of people, one of the first things that they overlook too much is how to get to the end. Like, my first reel, and then after the reel, I will get my job, and which studio and stuff like this. So these
Yeah.
things are pretty much all answered even in the beginning. Like you're like put to sit down and be like, don't worry, you will get there. It will be super fun, but remember to enjoy the fun. To enjoy the time you spend wandering in this magical world. Because after all, basically that's what it is like VFX Apprentice. You are given a lot of assets to work with. You to like it's like a toolbox. You can do whatever you
Mhm.
want. The first thing you gotta do is just have a lot of fun at the start, and maybe some people do not realize this.
You got to be creative and insert that artistic flair into your work as you go. I think that's a lot of the fun, but also maybe some of the fear because you don't know where to start. But that's what the assets that we give you are for, is it like explains it. You're like, oh, okay, I see how they did it. Ooh, but what if I changed this and made that different? So how long have you been with us, by the way? That's probably good for everyone to hear as well.
Oh yeah, well, that's a pretty good question. I think we've been together for something like 4 months, around 4 months.
Okay. So you've been in the content. So during that 4 month time, is there an effect that you're especially excited about that you're like, yes, I'm proud of that. It turned out great.
So yeah, I think that would be like the latest effect that I worked on for my VFX reel, because that effect like brings together a lot of the stuff that I worked on, that I previously studied, but also has the theme, one of the themes that I love the most, which is like godly power, like angelic power from above, like this
Hmm.
kind of holy stuff.
Yeah, I love how that one turned out as well with the beautiful light magic. It had this nice chromatic color scheme to it. It's very beautifully rendered. I think it was fantastic. So, how did that transition? You were with us for about 4 months. You had a master's in art before. A lot of people might hear that and be like, "Oh, he's studied so long to get to where he is." But basically, I think what that means is you had really strong art skills coming to us, and then we gave you the technical and animation skills, right? So you were with us
Yeah.
for only 4 months. It wasn't that long, and watching you grow, it was so rapid and so fast. Uh, how many hours were you putting in of work during that time, like each week?
So, yeah, but I want to mention this because you said that it was looking like I was going fast. Well, there are multiple reasons for me actually going fast, because I realized afterwards that I indeed was going fast, but that was because I had some foundational skills, as you said, that studying art gave me. That's something that you cannot just skip. You
Right.
might as well get away with it for a while, but it will come back at you and hunt you down. Because I know a lot of people who like do not have like foundational art skills, like uh, difficulties at coloring and like understanding perspective or composition and stuff like this. And that's just something that you gotta get a good grasp on. And VFX Apprentice has you covered on a good amount of this, because they give you a lot of indications, and even in the server itself there's a ton of people that can give you good advices on where to get your instruction.
You mean on
And
the Discord server? Just to clarify
yeah.
for everybody. Yeah. I appreciate you calling out that we do have a lot of fundamental art teaching for you. If you don't have a master's in art, don't worry.
Hmm.
Um, we are also building a lot more foundational content coming next year as well. So there's all of this happening to help support people because we know, like you said, this is so critical that you get a good foundation before you start trying to do anything too fancy or advanced. But yeah. So then I was asking how many hours you put in
Yeah,
while
yeah,
you were
but
with us for 4 months.
yeah, about a amount of hours. I would say that was not too long. I was not spending my entire day working on VFXs, because that, from experience, that does not work.
Mm.
it gets you just a lot of stress. It gets stressed you out before you can reach to any good milestone. So I would put like from 9 in the morning to 5, just like a normal job, and then rest of the day was, I don't know, going out, playing video games, and or getting inspired, because a lot of this work, a lot of this job is a lot about getting inspiration, and you can play video games to get inspiration. So that's
That's a
great.
nice perk. Yeah, I love like movies, games, cartoons. I love it all, and it's funny how many cartoons we watch in our house. Even before we had kids, we watched cartoons all the time because it's such great inspiration. And
But
of
yeah.
course, lots of video games because that is the typical application for real-time VFX is games. So speaking of games, I guess that's a great segue. Um, you have a job now. So after just a short time with us, you started getting like interviews and job opportunities. Tell us a little bit about where you landed and what that journey was like.
Okay. Well, yes, I got a job, and it's an amazing job, because I totally was not expecting to be able to like strike the industry so quickly. And it's a job at Navigator Games as a contractor VFX artist, which means that I get to work from home in Italy in a Canadian company, because Navigator Game is a Canadian company. It's in Vancouver, British Columbia. So that's for little, because soon enough, I mean, after the first period is passed, if they like me, I will also go to live in Vancouver and work at the studio as
Oh,
a
that's great.
employee.
Full time. Awesome.
Yeah, and I'm currently working at the first game, which is called Legacy of the Beast, Iron Maiden, and yeah, I get to like make very very cool fantasy VFXs for the characters that they're putting out, because this game is very old. It's like 6 years old now, and it has a very big pool of characters and stuff like this. So they keep updating the contents. It's just like League of Legends, you know,
Mhm.
like the foundation of the game is laid, and now they get to make whatever they want, like,
That's cool.
and the characters are so good. Like, I'm having so much fun making the effects.
That's great. That's a great learning environment where the game is stable and you're adding fun to it. You get to learn from, I'm guessing there's quite the library of effects that you get to see
Oh
how
yes.
everyone else created their effects and you get to learn from that directly. That's pretty cool too.
And it also like shines through the fact that you might think like only like very big industries, very big, sorry, like big companies have like those great VFX artists that make great effects, but then it all comes down to which boundaries you have, because this company makes games for mobile, and mobile
Mhm.
platform is kind of limiting, you know, and you gotta do the most, you gotta make the most out of very little resources that you have. You do not have like resources like a PC game, you know, you can't break the budget. So with
Yeah.
very tight budget, you get to see amazing effects, and it's so exciting. Like, and your perspective changes, because you're like, oh, but then it's like also indie companies can make very good stuff, and you can learn very much from even small indie companies. So
Well, I
yeah,
totally agree with that. I think a lot of people prefer to work at indie companies, at smaller studios, instead of large studios. It depends a lot on personality type and what the right fit for the artist is, right?
hmm
Some people really want to work on a really big team, on a really big project. Other people don't want that. And I think it's good to point that out because we assume that the dream must be, oh, go work for the biggest thing possible. But we definitely see our students going all kinds of places and really just VFX artists everywhere. Like you say, they may be insanely talented, perfectly qualified to work on whatever they want, but they enjoy working on mobile or they enjoy working on a smaller team and uh, really pouring their heart into that. So, yeah, I think that's great. One other thing I wanted to bring up because I know you're in the European Union and coming to North America is sometimes challenging for a lot of our students. We get a lot of questions about like oh, I don't have a visa or it's hard to work here. But you
Yeah.
got a job in Canada. So do you find that it's easier generally to like get the thumbs up from Canadian studios, or what was your experience?
So my experience about trying to work in the United States was kind of tricky, let's say.
Hmm.
I got a When I was trying to get a job, I got multiple offers from multiple companies, and plenty of them were from United States. So what you gotta do, what you gotta expect from United States companies is that they will very rarely allow some, junior VFX artists to come over to work or even to study as a how you say that,
An
like
intern?
yeah, as an
Yeah.
intern.
Hmm.
They will not be able to do that with like European people because they need a visa. And a visa is like a job permit.
Hmm.
So that is not possible. It's not like they don't want to do it. It's because the government is kind of tricky. It's gonna take a lot of time. It's difficult. It
Right.
costs a lot for them. So what you can expect is that these company do make you work from home most of the time as a freelance or simply a contractor. That works for them a lot of time. It depends if their kind of internal politics is good with this, because like some
Yeah.
companies are like, no, we really want you here in place. We want to look at your face, you know.
Well, I think
Uh,
what it is a lot of studios have tried working with people remotely in different time zones, and they've had bad experiences with it a lot of
oh
times
yeah,
because obviously it's highly collaborative. It's nice if you're there in person. It's very tricky to do like long distance relationship with the company, basically, for a
yeah.
variety of reasons. So they've tried it and they've learned that that's challenging and not something that they're willing to do. Although you did mention, and I think this is true for a lot of people, obviously it's not always going to be true for every studio, but more senior level people tend to get that consideration more, where they'll say, okay, you have worked with studios before, so leaving you in Europe while we are here in like California or anywhere in the United States, it's okay because we know that you know how to collaborate with the team. But if you're a junior artist and you've never done that before, then they're less likely to say, yeah, we'll work with you remotely because it's very challenging for you to anticipate all of the different things that you'll need to know and do as as a developer on the team. Really, you're not just an artist, but you're helping to develop a game, and that's very collaborative. So, yeah, I think that's cool that you found Navigator was willing to work with you remotely and test you out, right? And then
Yeah,
after
basically
that
that's what
test
it
period,
is.
you're gonna come in person if it all works out, right?
Yeah.
From starting our program, I know you had done like just a couple of effects before our program, but nothing major, to getting your job then was just over 3 months, it sounds like. Because if you started 4 months ago with us, and you've been at your job for 20 days, it'd be like 3 months and a few days. That's pretty cool.
So yeah, I would say that I did not start VFX Apprentice together with studying VFXs. Like I started
Okay.
studying VFX in general, like a month earlier or one and a half month earlier.
Okay, so
And then,
4 months of studying effects to get
yeah,
your
because
job.
I wanted to prepare myself. Yeah,
Yeah.
because like the VFX Apprentice is mostly focused on Unreal Engine, so I was like, I gotta study the engine first and then join VFX Apprentice. So that's what I did. So I would
Yeah.
say entirely it took me about 5 months or a little bit over 5 months.
And to
So
clarify for anyone watching, we are Unreal first and then Unity after we've built it in Unreal so that we know what we're building. We do it in Unreal the first time. And right now we have a lot of fun stuff in Unity on the way. I don't want to, I mean, you are right. We do focus on Unreal just because that's what we've done first. But you might be watching this years from now and we'll definitely have both. So
oh yeah,
depending
that's
on what
total.
you're interested in.
Like a lot of stuff is coming. Like I know
Yeah.
because like been talking and yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting. A lot of stuff for the future. Well, we're at the end of our time, but is there any final advice or thoughts that you have for people before we end?
So I think that one of the most important things that helped me like going through this entire period, because like I've been studying even prior to that even more, I would
Hmm.
say two key things. And one, the most important one is get a body, like someone that is there with you, doing the same thing like you, and is there like when you feel down and things are not working out, and to challenge you, to push you, to, and you know,
Yeah,
you do the same with that person, because because that works with everything. Not because VFX is super hard, but because yeah, it is. You know, it's very important to have someone you know, you can poke and stuff like this and have fun
I
and
totally
play
agree.
games together and you know, so like an adventure company, um, companion, I would say.
Mm, yeah.
Right. And then the other thing is you gotta like have some good foundational mindset. And I got mine from a bunch of books that I've been reading that really, really helped me a lot. And I like every person that I meet, I start advising them these books.
And
And
you have these books here with you, right? You said before the
yeah,
call
yeah,
you
yeah,
wanted to
yeah.
share some of them.
I filled them out before. So one of the most important ones is Atomic Habits. So this is a book about like trying to make you understand that everything that you do is a habit, either a good one or a bad one.
I love
And
that.
and like this book from James Clear like teaches you how to disrupt the bad ones and to construct new one, how to build new good habits. That's a very, very important one.
That's
The
great.
second most important one. So yeah, sorry.
I said that's great. And they're not a sponsor. None of these books are sponsors, just so
No,
everyone
no, I'm
knows.
not sponsoring.
This is
I
just
just love them from the bottom of my heart. It's like too good.
totally go on.
The second one is deep work. So this is
Yes.
about getting yourself into really good focus state. We kind of lost that ability nowadays. We're
Yes.
very distracted from a lot of stuff, and we're used to multitask. We're used to have the chat pulled on the other screen, and meanwhile we're working on another screen. That doesn't cut it. You need to focus to do good stuff, to do good work.
Students, I just want to interject here. I've observed that students who can do this move exponentially faster than everybody else.
And the last one I would say is this one from Adam Grant. He wrote many others, but this one is very, very good. It's called Give and Take. And personally, I find that this is like the secret weapon, something that you can add on top. It talks about the importance of like giving back to people, and the entire VFX community is based on this. A lot of people really love to give back because they got a lot from other people, and they just feel like they had to give back. And it's super important because growing in your job environment is strictly based on, well, according to the book, it's strictly based on how much you give.
That does
Yeah,
remind
I
me,
agree totally.
that's actually a funny segue. It's actually perfect segue. If you're new to us and getting familiar with VFX, there's a ton of other content on our YouTube channel here. Also, Mattia, can they reach out to you anyway if they want to get a hold of you for further questions?
Definitely, definitely. I'm always open for questions. To my email, uh, yeah, the email you can
Yeah,
find on
we'll
documentation would be fine.
we'll leave some stuff in the description so you can get a hold of Mattia. And also myself, you can go to vfxapprentice.com/contact. I'll leave the link to our site there in the description as well. So if you have any follow-up questions or you want to learn more, you can make sure and get a hold of us. We don't bite. We are very welcoming, we promise. So yeah, it's just wonderful to have you here, Mattia. Thanks so much for coming. It's been
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we'll catch you later. See ya. Bye.
Bye.